Hello and welcome to the Chaos to Clarity podcast. This is your magnetic business podcast. This is the podcast for women entrepreneurs who want to grow a magnetic and soul-aligned business without burning out or selling their soul. My name is Maggie. I'm your business mentor and human design expert with nearly 20 years of business experience and spiritual learning. I help you turn that messy momentum into aligned strategy that actually converts. This show is where we blend spiritual self-trust, practical business moves, and the power of your unique energetic blueprint. So if you're ready to build a business that feels exactly like you and sells like crazy, you are in the right place. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Chaos to Clarity podcast. My name is Maggie. I am your host. I'm your business mentor, and I am your human design expert, and I am so excited for today's episode. So we are talking about the last 100 days of the year. I cannot believe that we are here already. And it might be a little bit less than 100 days by the time you're listening to this. But what I really want to talk about is protecting your energy and planning for overflow, but also planning for the holidays as an entrepreneur, as a mom, as a woman, as someone who has a family and, just is doing all the things. And what I have found for myself over the past few days is that once it hits September and the kids go back to school, I am just in a panic. And I don't intentionally want to be in this panic, but I find myself having a lot of anxiety because the last quarter of the year, there's a ton of birthdays in our family. School starts. There's a lot of things happening for school. We've got different sports, different things going on, right? All of those things that happen. I find myself, especially after this past summer, the kids were home with me the majority of the summer, just due to babysitting, just kind of being all over the place. And our babysitter had some medical things going on. So there's just a lot of stuff happening. So I really feel like since June, I have kind of been on overdrive. And my body, right, even though I'm a manifesting generator, I still get tired. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And I have noticed that this is not the first time I've noticed this level of exhaustion for myself. And now some people are going to be like, well, you have kids. Of course you're exhausted. But here's the thing. When you're doing things that are in alignment for you or doing things in a way that are aligned for you, you will be able to reset your energy much quicker. And it won't be like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. Now, also, throw in there, I turned 40 this year and I'm probably in the beginning stages of perimenopause, but I also know that I can't just blame everything on that, right? I need to take accountability for me, for what I'm doing, all the things. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about setting yourself up for the last 100 days or so of the year. What does that flow look like? And what does it look like for me? But what can it look like for you as well? Now, I will say that most entrepreneurs that I talk to, most moms that I talk to, dread October to January. And I do not want that for myself. I love getting up in the morning. I love getting up in the morning because I love having coffee. I want that type of excitement every day. Right? And not just because of the coffee. I want that level of excitement because then it's like, okay, I am so excited for what is to come. I'm so excited for today, for what is happening right now. I'm so excited for the rest of this week, for this weekend, for the things that are going on, the things that I get to do. I want that level of excitement. Now, if you listened to last week's episode, I talked about being delusional, and I'm just going to say that was one of my favorite episodes to record because I want to bring that level of delusion into future episodes, this episode and in the future, because if you intentionally design and set up your business It will run differently. It will run better. It will run in a way that feels just like exciting, right? And a lot of the things that I've done to set my business up differently is base it on my human design. So I base it on the fact that I'm a manifesting generator and that I know I'm going to want to do 27 different things during the day because I can, because I'm excited to. Now, some things that I have had to work on, because I do love to do 27 different things in a day. I've had to work on knowing that I might not complete all of those things every single day. I might start those things and then have to move on to a different thing without finishing the thing. And then at the end of the day, I don't want to get angry with myself for not finishing the things. Now, I will say I am getting better, quicker at finishing the task at hand, which comes down to time management. Right? I'm getting better at managing my own time so that I can do all 27 things in a day, feel really excited about them, and go to bed blissfully exhausted. So if you are an entrepreneur listening to this and you're like, I just don't even want October to January to can we just fast forward to February? I want to help you intentionally design your business a little bit differently, your strategy a little bit differently, because by planning out, and I'm not saying down to the dotted I's and crossed T's, right? I'm not saying that you definitely can go into that level of detail, but I'm not saying you have to. But having some specific goal markers set up along the way is definitely going to help you generate and do the things that you want to do so that it's not overwhelming when it's like, oh my God, it's Thanksgiving and I don't know. Black Friday is just around the corner and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I better hurry up and throw something together. And that never works. Right? So what I've done is I have planned out my last 100 days of the year. And really it's probably I would say it's probably closer to 120 because I did include into mid-January. Now, my goal for myself was I know I am always very stressed out from mid-October through about mid-January for 2 months because we have Drew's birthday is in November. We have Thanksgiving and then Maida's birthday and then Christmas and then New Year's and then back to school. And then let's get back into our rigmarole of being off from school and back into the swing of things. I do not wish to feel like that any longer. So I am actively choosing to set those feelings aside of anxiety, and they've already started. If I'm being honest, right? They've already started. And I thought to myself the other day, I don't like feeling like this. I don't like this. It feels icky. It feels gross. I don't enjoy wanting to just crawl back into bed and not get out of bed. Now, I understand some people would call that depression, but I'm just going to say this. I was feeling like that because I was putting so much pressure on myself to perform. So I took it upon myself to clear things off of my schedule, clear everything off and start to bring in what felt really, really good. And as I was doing that, I realized, okay, this is kind of fun. And what can I add in where I'm feeling excited to show up every day, where I'm feeling excited to talk to people? Because yes, even as a manifesting generator, I get tired. And I will say that, all of the studying I've done of my human design, when I took my design and personality sides and looked at them separately, my personality side is actually a reflector. And my design side is a pure manifesting generator. So it makes a lot of sense for me why I'm very shy up front, which most people would not really think about because I have such a bubbly personality. But But initially, when I meet people, I'm a little bit more shy and reserved until you get to know me. And then I'm just a lot of fun, which makes so much sense based on my human design. So what does this have to do with planning the last 100 days? Okay, I looked at my schedule. I took a realistic look at it and I said, okay, what do I actually have time for? What do I want to put on a back burner? What do I want to put on pause? What do I actually want to focus on? And this is what came up for me, right? I wanted to focus on one-on-one, right? On one-on-one mentoring. And I wanted to be able to bring in no more than 4 people in the last 100 days of the year because I know for my schedule, the way I have it set up, that for every 1 client hour, there are for me, there's probably, I would say, like about 2 hours of overhead. But for most people, for every 1 client hour, you're going to have anywhere from 1 to 5, or I would say probably more like 3 to 5 hours of overhead. That includes email, that includes Telegram or Voxer or whatever those other things are. That includes, creating social media, sending emails, reviewing things, sales calls, networking. That includes all of that other stuff, right? That 3 to 5 hours. So if we're looking at 4 one-on-one clients for me, I would say I average about 2 hours per client. So that's 8 hours on top of every 1 client hour that I am doing per week. So that's about 12 hours. We'll call it 15 just because that's an easier number to work with. So 15 hours a week. If I have a full client roster for 4 clients, I'm going to spend about 15 hours total serving those people and all the overhead. Now, I'm also the director of operations for Sattva.io, which is a SaaS company, a software as a service company. So the back end of all of my stuff, the tech behind my brand is run through Sattva. Now I am adding on the director of operations role for that company. So I stepped into that role. So I knew that I no longer had like 30 or 40 hours a week to screw around and find out, right? I needed to tighten up what I was doing. And I knew that I could, right? I've been an entrepreneur for almost 20 years. And I knew, especially over the summer, having the kids home with me, I knew there were places that I was kind of letting things drag on that I could tighten up. So I did that, right? And I looked at all of these things and I factored in all the other places where, I'm still a photographer. I still take family photos. So editing for that, scheduling in those clients, all that stuff I took into account. And I took into account how many hours a week I wanted to work. But more importantly, I took into account when do I want to effectively stop, quote unquote, stop working. And I don't mean stop working as in, totally unplugging from the business. I mean, if you're wanting to work with me after the 15th of November, you're going to go onto a waiting list until spots open up in mid-January. That's what I mean. So, I'm still out there. Maybe I'm not posting as much. Maybe I'm not doing as many stories leading into that time of the year, and taking all of that into consideration. And I would love for you to do the same, because scheduling and looking and planning for this helped alleviate so much of my anxiety and the thoughts of doom and gloom. And is this really working? Can I really do this? I have all this work. And it literally took a lot of that and just kind of blew it out of the water, because now things were a little bit more organized and I have more of a flow, and I have, kind of this daily task list of things that the high hitters. And I've had that list before, but what had happened was so many things got added to that list that didn't necessarily need to be there. This allowed me to clear that list and bring things back on that are heavy hitters right now for this season right now. And actually, in mid-October, I'm planning to do this same exercise for January through probably April. So kind of working in thirds instead of quarters for the year. Just because then there's an overlap, right? From quarter one into quarter two. So I'm planning in quarter four for all of quarter one and into quarter two so that in March, I can go and do the same thing for May, June, July, August, for May, June, July, and August. And then in July, I can plan for September through December or January. So it really just kind of makes more sense to do that. And actually, someone that I follow on Instagram, who is ironically a podcast editor, she was talking about looking at the year in thirds instead of in quarters. So that's really kind of what helped me. She talked about that, and then I thought, oh my gosh, that's super interesting. And then I realized, like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling really a lot of anxiety. It's September and I feel like I don't have the things in place that I was expecting to have in place. So I readjusted. And this is the thing, and this is kind of a tangent, but this is the thing when you think about failure in business. You know, we think about failure and we think, oh my gosh, I didn't do the things and now I'm a failure and blah, 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 blah. Here's a reframe for you for that. Notice if things aren't going the way you want them to, and then get curious. Curiosity and play are something that adults do not do anymore. And invite in that curiosity of like, well, okay, so why does this feel like it's not working? Like, what are the reasons why this feels icky to me? And what would I want to do instead? Like, how would I want this to change instead? And that's really the keys for you, right? Like, that is the key things to be like, oh, it can be as simple as putting a time block on my calendar for the first 30 minutes of the day that I am in my inbox for both companies, for my coaching and mentoring and for director of operations at Sattva. The first 30 minutes I spend in the inbox. And then I don't feel at the end of the day, oh my God, I didn't even look at my email today. I don't feel like that anymore. And it was as simple as just putting it on the task list of things to get done every day. And if the inboxes don't need to be tended to, because not every day, there's not a ton of things every single day, cool. Now I have an extra 20 minutes because the next thing after inboxes for me is things like creating content. So doing this podcast or creating, a week's worth or 2 weeks worth of content to be scheduled out or creating the Canva graphics. So it doesn't have to be this crazy detailed thing. Some days I have more time to play in Canva. Other days I don't. But this is something that I had to look at because I didn't realize it wasn't working until I was feeling the anxiety of it not working. And that is really something that I realized I wasn't protecting my energy. And I had kind of let that slip, right? And I'm a human, right? Things are going to ebb and flow. But if you are feeling exhausted in your business, check your energy. Are you protecting your energy? Because if you're not, then you need to rein that in. That is something that, again, I help my clients with this also. Everything that I talk about here on the podcast are things that I help myself with and that I help my clients with, because a lot of times we don't realize that there are energy leaks until we're exhausted and we're like, I don't think I can do this anymore because it feels so freaking hard and I don't want it to feel hard. So going back to protecting my energy was understanding what is actually lighting me up. What do I feel so excited to show up and do? And if I wasn't feeling excited about it, it got put in the idea parking lot. It got put in a parking lot for a later date because I might be excited about it in a month. I might not be, and that's okay. So putting in those boundaries, also putting in a boundary of like, my work hours are 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., Monday through Thursday. Yes, sometimes I do admin on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. It really just depends. But I don't force myself to be nose to the grindstone 5, 6, 7 days a week for, 8, 10, 12 hours. I am no longer signed up for that. I don't have the energy for that. I'm too old for that. And I have kids and I want to enjoy things with them. So building that aligned structure allowed me to realize what I was excited for, which then taps into my human design, right? I'm a manifesting generator. I love doing all the things, and I can have energy for all the things as long as they're aligned. So when things are not exciting anymore, that lets me know that they're not aligned. That lets me know that, oh, maybe I don't actually want to be doing this thing anymore. Can I visit how I can either stop this project or set it off to the side, pause it, whatever, hand it off, bring in a VA to tackle that project so that I can continue to have sales and flow without burning out, because I don't have to do it all. Just because I can do it all does not mean I have to. So if you want to set up your final 100 days for clarity and ease, think about looking at your offers, aligning your messaging, simplifying your systems, protecting your energy. Those are the 4 things, right? Auditing your offers, aligning your message, simplifying your systems, and protecting your energy. Those are the 4 things you need to look at, right? And this literally is, do I like number 1, offer audit. Do I like the offer that I have on the table? How many offers do I have on the table? I'm not going to lie, over the summer, I had somehow accumulated like 5 or 6 different offers, and it was too much. So I literally cleared the slate and I brought it down. You know what? We're going to have one thing, one-on-one mentoring. That's the thing. And a support to that is going to be the 2-week email course, 20 leads in 2 weeks, all through email. It's ready. It's set. It's there, available for you, right? So those are the 2 things. And then the third, the free thing, is the offer audit call and or the magnetic client blueprint. Those are the 3 things. Those are the 3 offers that I was like, yes, this is exciting to me. I cannot wait to have this thing. Here's what we're going to work with. And then I aligned my messaging to that. And yes, I use ChatGPT. Because honestly, if you're not using ChatGPT, that's fine. Do you, but also ChatGPT really helps me do things quicker. I can have it give me outlines, frameworks, and then I can go in and I can tweak things and I can add my voice. And I've actually trained my ChatGPT to really hone in on what I sound like by using transcripts from podcasts and transcripts from some of the calls that I've done, right? So aligning my messaging and then simplifying my systems. I looked at my tech, right? I use Sattva. I use Sattva.io as my tech backend, right? My system, my CRM. So Sattva is a CRM, but it hosts my funnels, my website, payment processing, courses, memberships. It's literally everything all in one. So I went in there and I looked, okay, what are the funnels that I'm going to use? What are the funnels that I'm not going to use? Are the automations behind that? Are they all sunk up? Am I nurturing my email list? Right? And I simplified things to be easier for me to show up, quicker for me to execute. And, I kind of just let go of the thought. And this is a specific thought that I had, was around Canva and graphics, that I needed them to look a certain way. And I'm just no longer available for that. It's okay. It's okay if it's not polished and all beautiful. It's okay. And that was something that I had to let go of because I do love being in Canva, but that right there, Canva, is such a time sink. It's a time warp for me. I will go in there and I will get lost. So not having to feel like I had to have a certain aesthetic, perfect, great, done. It's okay, right? And then lastly, protecting my energy. Knowing that, okay, my best working hours are between 8 a.m. and 2 or 3 p.m. Those are that is the time slot where I can get the most work done, where I can connect with the most people, where I can conduct the most cool, awesome things, where I feel in the zone and I don't have to worry about feeling like, oh my God, the kids are home and I'm working again. Done. That's it. So I understand for some people it might be a little more like nuanced than that, right? But also remember, I'm a sacral manifesting generator. So I do make decisions very quickly. So if you think about this through human design, what are you excited for? What is exciting for you? What are the hours you want to work, right? If you're a projector, you're probably not going to put your nose to the grindstone. You're probably going to have pockets of work time nestled in between pockets of rest. And that could mean like physically laying down, taking a nap. That could also mean, going for a leisurely walk. That could mean going to a yoga class, whatever that means for you. So if you're curious about how all of this can look for you, if you want to plan out your next 100 days, if you want to plan out the rest of your 2025 into 2026, so you want to be prepared to jump into the new year, go ahead and book an offer audit call. Again, just like last week, I opened my calendar wide open for you guys to come in and do offer audits because I want you to feel so aligned going into the latter half of this year. I want you to feel like you've got this. I want you to feel like you can move forward. I also want you to generate the income that you want to bring in. And just like last week, I talked about being delusional. Get a little delusional about bringing in whatever that amount of money is, right? Don't be afraid to step into that delusion and think, oh, can I really do that? I think I can. It feels exciting. It feels like something that I want to pursue. So grab an offer alignment call, and we'll talk all about your offer, all about your human design, and we're going to talk about how you feel in the current iteration of what you're doing. And that's important so that we have a baseline, so that we know, okay, you're feeling great here, but not so great here. Well, can we look at what strategy you're using over here, shift it a little bit to align with your human design so that your energy is excited and flowing and moving. That's where the key is. So, as always, whatever resonated for you in this episode, go ahead and slide into my DMs on Instagram at Maggie Lynn with 2 N's mentoring, or at the Chaos to Clarity podcast. Let me know what resonated. Let me know the questions that you have, because I am so excited to connect with you, answer questions. That's how I create these podcasts, is going through questions that you may ask. So I'm so excited to hear from you, and I will see you in the next episode.